Hello and welcome. The whole world is under crisis of the coronavirus, and many people are taking a lot of preventive measures, including the government and a lot of other people like NGOs. And there are so many cases that are increasing day by day in the world, and in our country and in our state itself. So here we have Goa science students under the leadership of Larissa Rodrigues, the lecturer in the Goa Home Science College in Panjim, has taken this initiative to release an e-booklet which gives the detailed instructions of what is coronavirus, how it is spread, and how can we prevent, and what are the myths about this thing. So we are going to talk to Larissa and find out more about this e-booklet that is released, and very soon it will reach it out to the people across the state so that they can read and they can understand what it really means and what is coronavirus is all about. So welcome. And you have released this book. I have read it many times, and it is an e-booklet that you have released. Before we actually go into this actual topic, I would like to ask you about this coronavirus. What do you have to say? Because you have released an e-booklet. So what do you understand by coronavirus?
Basically, in all the history of our lives, at least, we have not really come across such a situation when the whole world and India and especially Goa has been stuck in this situation of this pandemic, kept away from each other. So this is a really, as they call it, novel situation for us. So they have named it, the WHO has named it the novel coronavirus. They also refer to it as COVID-19. Now there have been earlier virus situations like this, pandemics like this with the SARS virus, the MERS virus, which have happened before, but not as widespread as how coronavirus has just like taken over the world in a span of a couple of months. So we thought this a great health issue to think of at this time, because it is so widespread right now.
Okay, now the virus has been spreading it. Different people are understanding it differently. So what is the way of this virus get transmitted?
So through all our readings in the process of this research, mainly like there's new research emerging every day. Every day there's a new study which tells you another way in which a symptom could be recognized. Like for example, in today's newspaper there was something about not being able to smell and not being able to taste. These are also symptoms that could signify the presence of coronavirus. But in terms of transmission, the main way of transmission as said by the WHO up till now is through the exchange of either a person sneezes and the virus passes through droplets of the sneeze or the cough onto another person or onto a surface. Then that virus can remain on that surface depending on the temperature of that surface, depending on the quality of that surface for a certain amount of time. Someone else comes and touches the surface and then touches their face or mouth, the virus can transmit to them. As you know, viruses are really small and can be transmitted in many different ways. Now the WHO has also said that this virus is slightly different from the earlier viruses in the fact that sometimes it can be transmitted even without a big cough, like if I cough it will reach to a certain extent, but sometimes even with a heavy breath, or because this virus according to some studies replicates not only in the lungs but can start its process of replication even in the respiratory tract. So even in other ways it is possible to spread, which makes it even more scarier. And sometimes asymptomatic carriers, they call them, who don't cough and don't sneeze but could be carriers of the virus, can also pass it on to people. So what has happened is it has created a sense of fear in the public, but fear takes more lives and leads to more misinformation, and people just believe anything from anywhere, so then it becomes very difficult to control public fear in that way, so you have to pass on the correct fact so that people know this is the fact, this is how I can prevent it, this is what I can do.
Okay. Does this virus also is existing in the air, as we say?
As far as current research goes, it doesn't fly about in the air, but I am not a medical person and I am not a doctor. Like Dr. Roshan Nazareth, who has helped us with this book, may be able to clarify that a little better. But it can pass through what they call droplets in the air, but you do not know what kind of droplets. There are some particles and things which exist in the air which you cannot see. So research has not yet proven, but then there is no explanation for how an asymptomatic carrier without coughing and without sneezing can also pass it on to you. So I'm not a doctor to speculate on that, but it's likely that It is not passing through the air, but there is something in the air which can carry it for some time, I suppose.
Okay. Now coming to your book now, by the way you have said now, coronavirus is all about sneezing and coughing, transmission and all that. Now you have released your ebook. How did you? What came to your mind?
Yeah, this is just a booklet actually, and what we did was when this pandemic was when first we started to have this lockdown, this curfew and all, and a lot of people were left wondering, like so many things we were getting on WhatsApp, Facebook messages, and all sorts of stories about some scary things, really things that I don't know whether to believe or not to believe. So then it came into my head, like now people have received so much information. Now what is true, what is not true, does everybody know? Maybe we'll just do one short survey, like just to check what is the knowledge that people have so far about COVID, and maybe there are many things that they are believing that are also wrong. Like for example, some people were thinking like if I eat some certain foods, my immune system will be strong and I won't get the virus. Whereas the fact is the immune system may be strengthened, but still you may get the virus, but your ability to fight it may be better. Yeah, so there were certain myths, like if you believe all these things, then you'll just go about doing whatever you want whenever you want. No? So it was important to clarify this. And what I realized also, actually I've done my masters in Mumbai, and for my masters dissertation I had done a study in KM hospital with dialysis patients, kidney dialysis patients, and it was to study what they knew about their disease, because what was proved through my research, mostly illiterate and very low class patients come to KEM hospital, which is a government hospital. So there, even the the ones who are on the roadside, who could not even read, could not even speak properly, like if you showed them, these are your kidneys, this is what happens during dialysis, this is why you need to take your medication, and you showed them pictorially and explained to them properly, they would then be more likely to take the medicines and follow exactly what the doctor said. But because they did not know and they were misinformed, many times they would not do that, and that would lead to their early death. So we realize that knowledge has some kind of power, that it changes the way the person behaves. So we said, let us test what knowledge people have, so that in case there are misconceptions and all, then at least we can come up with something. Like first we had thought of, we'll just come up with a leaflet or a brochure which can just be sent to people quickly and dispel all these things. But then through the research, through few of the questionnaires that we went through, we found there were certain myths and misconceptions which were still existing in people's minds. So we thought, why not do a little more, and we'll clarify most of the questions through the research which we had asked, and what are the correct answers to those questions and why. Secondly, what we've also done through this booklet is, we cannot answer all the questions because we are not doctors. Yeah, but what we've done is we've done a search of which websites are giving the good information, accurate information, and those are what links we have provided in the booklet. So if you want more information, like how to wear a mask, when to wear a mask, even that is told very pictorially in some websites which you can go to and you can refer. So this was the whole concept of this research.
How did this topic come on, like to reach out to the people, e-book?
Because we realized through the research that there were many people, even educated people, like even the research has gone to many people around, no? So postgraduate students, people who are educated, even doctors and all, and still there were some myths which still existed. Like some people still answered true and false wrong. Like you ask them a question about do you think there is a vaccine for this illness developed yet? So about 6% answered yes, there is a vaccine. Now if you are taking a survey in an educated group of people, and 6%, even that is a small percentage, but 6% still believe that there is a vaccine, so why will they follow all the protocol if there is a vaccine? So small things came out like this. So we thought, like why not just do it, because we had time on our hands, we had some, and we have to contribute something. Research is something which you have to give back to the public something. It should not be done for no reason, otherwise what will I do sitting with this information? So it's a very, very small work, and what we tried to do was keep it very simple, basic language that anybody can, and some child can pick up this book and read. Just a small booklet, and it's only 17 pages, so quick reading. It has a lot of pictures, so very pictorially, even a child can look at it and understand something from it, like very, very simple.
So who are the people who helped in this?
So I conceptualized this research with the help of one of my students, one of my TYBSc Human Development students. I am a teacher in Human Development, specialization in the Home Science College. So during the lockdown period, over the internet and passing things back and forth, we conceptualized the entire questionnaire. We looked at other questionnaires which were existing already in the, even though COVID is so recent, there were still a couple of people in different places in China and other places who had done knowledge questionnaires before on this. So we took help of each other, and then the two of us worked together on this. After this was done, to circulate it among people to get responses, we gave ourselves like 1 week's time. We said within 1 week we'll do it, because we want to get something out of this before the pandemic gets over, then it is of no use. So we want to circulate this information. So within 1 week we got about 180 responses. So a lot of people helped us to further the information on their groups and all. We would say pass it on to others to answer. Many people reluctant to answer because it takes about 10 minutes to answer. Sometimes internet problems, they don't open. So we didn't get a big sample survey, but about 180 people we were able to interview through that questionnaire. Then after this we both sat together again online and on the phone and all, and we came up with what are the main findings, where are people getting answers wrong. And then my student, she did a lot of information searching on different kinds of websites which are more easy to understand and all those kind of things. When it was finally compiled, we sent the information to Dr. Roshan Nazareth. He works with some of the quarantine and COVID patients at the Kandolim Health Center. So he was a good person, we thought, to go through this booklet. So he went through, he showed us how to simplify the language in certain places because of medical terminology. He said just keep it very simple, easy to understand. So he edited here and there. He suggested some things to add, some things to remove. And that was how this book got conceptualized. We didn't really, come up with the idea first that we will release a e-booklet or something. It just happened as a process of this research. And then we gave it to one of my friends to design. I told her what kind of pictures we want to put in. So she designed it for us as a e-booklet, because we could not go to a printer and get the whole thing designed at the printer and print it out to release it as a book. So because of all these lockdown measures in place, we released it as an e-booklet on the 27th of May.
Okay, now to do it, it is a very risky and a lot of hard work and need a lot of support. Did you get enough support from your department?
Actually, college was not operational at that time, so we conceptualized this on our own. I spoke to the principal, and he is always very supportive of us. So research work and all, he says yes, please just go ahead and do it. So we just went ahead. We showed him the end product. He was very happy about that, and so he released it on the Facebook page and on Instagram on his own. We were not even aware, how to release it on a big scale, because with this lockdown was still going on in May when we released it. It was not yet ended, so we were like, now what should we do? So because of that we were slightly stuck. But now we are thinking of different ways in which we should try to make this available to the public, in more ways. We have circulated it among all our students. We have circulated to all our contacts. We have tried to circulate it to all the people who answered the questionnaire for us also, through email or through WhatsApp.
Now, since you have released, you have done a study on it. What have you learned from this book? Now, you must be also knowing. I came to know about this. Which is the best part from this book that you came to know?
Actually, the thing that struck me is that if each person takes responsibility for seeing that their family and themselves follow the protocols which are in place, then the spread will not be so much. The basic thing about wearing a mask, washing your hands before entering the house, after you enter the house, before going anywhere else, touching anything else, washing and sanitizing your hand, keeping your house and your sanitary surfaces clean, at all times, and just following the protocols that the government puts in place. If they've told you to maintain 1 meter, you maintain more than 1 meter. Try to do it as much as possible, because 1 meter you may say, but somebody's cough may be more powerful than 1 meter, and it may reach up to 1.5 meters. So just put those small things in place, and if one person can make a difference, that whole family is safe. And in the end we can do whatever we can do, but of course what has to happen will happen. But at the same time you cannot do nothing and then say, oh, it happened.
So can you tell me some of the topics that you have jotted down on your book?
Yes.
If you go through it, actually just the basic facts: what is COVID-19, how does it transmit, what are the basic symptoms that you face, okay, and a few questions that, if a person coughs and the cough droplets land on the glass, how long can the virus remain alive on the glass? So some tentative rough idea we've given to give the people the message, just that it can be there, so you take the precautionary measure, don't assume that it is not there. So just to keep these few things in mind. Then many people thought that people who get COVID Like so many people have said, like, 30% of them die, 50% of them die, but actually if you go to see, the death rate is only 2 to 3%. So people should not be fearful. Like in the end, we've put a quotation which says hope is the only thing which is stronger than fear, because fear can kill you, but at least little bit of hope can help you to do something a little, to prevent this from happening. So small misconception, and some even the difference between what is a quarantine. When you are asked to quarantine, what is the meaning of that? When are you quarantined? What is self isolation? When you are kept in isolation, small things like that, which people do, not the questions that people don't normally ask. Do pregnant women, are they affected more by COVID? Will the baby get COVID from the pregnant woman? Now today there was a case where a lady delivered in Margao. She was COVID positive and she delivered a child. Now the child was immediately taken to GMC and the mother is in Margao. So these kinds of things. Now if you read this, the WHO recommends, for example, with safety and precaution measures, that a mother can even breastfeed her baby even if she has COVID. But some people are not aware of this. So maybe they have taken for baby for testing to keep the baby safe from the mother, because you do not know in this time what protocols to follow. So how to wear a mask, when to wear a mask, why to wear a mask. For example, simple questions which we don't think, we are just wearing the mask like this, right? Now you are across from me, you are not sneezing, you are not coughing, but you are breathing on me and I am breathing on you. So this kind of a situation, yes, but we are maintaining our 1 meter distance, correct? Now you will see people in the cars, their windows are closed, the AC is on, but the mask is like this. Now in the car, nobody is there with you, but you are simply breathing in more carbon dioxide. You are keeping yourself away from normal germs, which may in the end make your immune system weaker, because you are not exposing yourself to any infection. So when you are in the car, when you are in a closed space, when you are alone, you don't need to wear the mask at all time. When you are in the house with maybe your children and nobody has gone out anywhere, okay, this much mask, or you temporarily wear the mask. Children are going out to play like this mask all the time. This is how they breathe sometimes, and you cannot breathe in carbon dioxide all the time. So even when my children go down to play, I tell them, you maintain distance from the other people. Like if you are playing a game like badminton, one person is there, one person is here, I don't need to wear the mask here unless I'm in a crowded place. So this will tell you like when to wear a mask, only when you are in a crowded place. Then it will show you a procedure how to put on the mask. So small things like that. And then the last part, about 2 or 3 pages, deals with the myths and misconceptions, for which we have taken a lot of help from the WHO websites to clear up these misconceptions. For example, like some people thought earlier that because India is a hot country, the virus is not coming to India so easily because it dies in the hot climate. But there is no proven thing that says that the virus dies in hot climates, and there are other countries which were hot where the virus was still surviving. So if you keep that myth in mind, then you will be freely roaming in the sun thinking nothing is happening to you, when actually it is possible to spread even in a hot climate. So few myths and misconceptions we have clarified in that. And then in the end, we stressed on the importance of keeping yourself mentally healthy also. Everyone's bothered about what goes inside their body to make their immune system strong, but the biggest thing is mental stress. If you are stressed out, your immunity goes down, because stress and immunity don't go together. So important is to maintain your mental health also. So we've suggested de-stress, do some things that keep you happy. Like if you are happy going for a walk, find a place where you can go for a walk where there is nobody around. Like small suggestions, right? De-stress and keep yourself in good health. I know it's difficult to say, because in this time of stress, actually many people are losing their jobs, unemployment, where is the money going to come from, the economy. So there's a lot of things that people are getting stressed about, and therefore that also could be compromising their immunity.
Okay, now that my last question, you have released ebook. What are you going to go in the hard copy for the people who go on, so that they, because you have taken a lot of effort, a lot of data has been collected, and it has been simplified. So don't you think it has to reach it to the people in the form of maybe printed?
Yes, in fact that was our earlier intention, and we had thought that releasing an e-thing, it would reach the masses a little faster. Now the only thing is, in printing we would love to do, but as of now, like we have just rejoined back to work now, as the colleges have just opened only with the teachers. So we were trying to find sources of funding, because for printing also you need money and you need to make it available in color, so all those things. So we are looking at different sources like the Rotary Club. We were also thinking to approach the health minister, ask him to go through the booklet, and if any changes need to be made, by if some higher doctors recommend some things to be added and all, then we would try to do something like this and release it maybe through the health ministry or through a Rotary Club or something like that. So we are looking for sources how we can make this available, maybe to schools, to colleges, to different hospitals, where a person can just pick up like a smaller size version of this just for reading and going through things. So we want to work on that now.
The good effort you have taken, and it is simplified very well. So, what is the message you want to give to the people of Goa as they read this book?
There is always hope. There is always hope, and it's not like the world is all dark now, So just do your part in whatever way it's possible. Rest leave to God. We cannot do anything more than that. This is our small way of contributing.
Thank you very much for releasing the book and for giving your time on this program on releasing your COVID e-booklet. So hoping to see the booklet actually in hard copy reaching out to all the people, so that your hard work, your effort, your study reaches out to the people, because this time is a very crucial time where people need to know also a lot of fact about it. In terms of the villages, they prefer their own way of method. Some prefer homeopathy. A lot of people have their own type of understanding about this virus. So thank you very much. Keep going. All the best.
Thank you.
Now we have Caroline Carvalho, student of Goa College of Home Science, who had been the part and parcel of this e-booklet that has just come out, who have helped the whole book to come out with the help of others also. So we are going to ask her how she has contributed herself in this release of the book. So welcome. Tell me the first thing, when you were approached, what came to your mind to help this booklet?
So in Goa College of Home Science, I'm studying under the Human Development specialization. So we had an option in our semester to take up research. Okay, it was an optional subject. So I opted to take research, and I completed my individual research earlier. And then suddenly now during this lockdown period, ma'am approached me and asked me if she could. If I could help her in the research, the COVID research, and I was interested in research, so I said I'll help ma'am. So that's how we came up with this.
Okay, so how did you plan your research?
We coordinated over online platforms like WhatsApp, or maybe through video calls, through phone calls and all. So it was just through online, because we could not meet during the lockdown period.
Okay, so which part of the book that you have contributed?
The information that is compiled by both ma'am and me from various sources. We have taken up all the information. So all the information I compiled it from various sources online, and I forwarded it to ma'am. Then ma'am added her own insights to it, and that's how we came up with the booklet.
What do you have to say about this now? You have also been a part of the full book that is released. What do you understand as coronavirus now?
It's a novel virus. There is still research going on about it. Nobody is still sure about what are the things that maybe, what are the precautions and all. Every day there is a new this that comes up. There are many studies being conducted and all. Yeah.
Okay, what is the next plan that is coming up, next research that is coming up on you?
Next research, I'm planning to do my master's in human development. So as a part of my master's, I'll have to do a research study. So let's see when that comes up. I'm in the final year now, so this is my last semester here.
Okay, so how should people read this book now, as they are going to get it ebook? So which part?
We released it online through online platforms, but now we may plan to release printed copies of it. There are still talks going on about it.
What made you to compile this book?
We did the research and we collected data. We realized that many people had a lot of misconceptions and they were not able to distinguish facts from fiction. So we thought of compiling this booklet to make it easier to reach out to a lot of people, and we did it in simple language so that it becomes easy to understand.
Okay, now the people will understand better, you mean to say?
Yeah, there is a lot of information that is already available, but the information that is available, some people felt through the research itself, we found out that people felt it the information that is available was too technical, too detailed. Okay, so we tried to bring out the information in a easier manner, more in a not in a sophisticated manner, just a small simple manner like.
It's okay, as you are releasing, you got a facts with you now, and you must have heard a lot of people talking about virus and all that. This. What do you say about this?
Yeah, there are facts, and as the virus spreads, there are also facts, various myths spreading. So we can't say anything about it because now still there is research going on. Okay, so all we can do is just follow the protocol, listen to what the WHO says. Okay, what the other health this departments and all say.
Okay. So finally, what is your message now? You had been part of the research. You have enough information, research with you also. What is your message to the people through your e-booklet?
Okay, so through the booklet, the message is if each one makes a difference. So if one person knows, then they can tell the other person. They can spread it to a wide mass of people. They can propagate the information sort of.
So that information.
Yeah, so people can get the information. Like if in one family, if the booklet reaches one person, that person is able to educate the entire family, tell the entire family about the myths, the facts and all.
So let this book be shared by all.
Yeah. So the book needs to be shared on all platforms and all, and it has to be shared to more people. Okay, so knowledge is power, and now knowledge only can bring about a change. So it's time to learn more, and we can all work towards making the change possible.
Thank you very much for joining in, and wishing you all the best in your next research.